So before the start of the EFL Championship season, I made 5 bold predictions going over things that I didn't think were particularly likely to happen, but I thought could happen, and I wanted to stick my neck on the line and have a bit of fun with some predictions, because at the end of the day, that's all this is. It's a bit of fun to go alongside the Championship season, and we're just over halfway through the campaign so far. In fact, we've played around 24 matches so far out of 46 games in the entire season. There's a few teams that have played 23, but for the most part, teams have played 24 games in the English second tier. So I thought now would be a good time to revisit my predictions and go over how wrong or right my 5 bold predictions were from the start of this season. So guys, let's dive in. I'm sure that all my predictions are, probably not looking the best at this point, but we'll just go into my predictions. So the first of my predictions that I had for the Championship this season was that Burnley wouldn't be promoted. My reasoning for this is because they had quite a rough season in the Premier League last season. They lost Vincent Kompany, their manager, and they got Scott Parker in, someone who I don't really personally rate that highly. Although saying that, Burnley have been pretty good this season. They currently sit in 3rd place overall in the Championship. As things stand, that would not necessarily be enough to get promoted, but of course that would get them into the playoffs, and I think I actually said I predicted them to get into the playoffs but not be promoted. Currently they're behind both Leeds and Sheffield United in the Championship table, although Burnley did beat us pretty comprehensively on Boxing Day, so it's far from over by any means whatsoever. Burnley are on a long unbeaten run. They had a kind of disappointing draw against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough are doing quite well this season, in fairness, as well, most recently. So yeah, Burnley looking like, as things stand, they potentially wouldn't go up, but I would say, looking at those top 4 sides, I think it's going to be 2 from 4 that get promoted automatically between Sunderland, Sheffield, Leeds and Burnley. I would probably like to stick my neck out and say that Leeds and Sheffield will probably go up automatically out of those, but we really need to get a lot of reinforcements in, and Burnley right now I would say are looking much stronger. Certainly they were better than us when we played them at Bramall Lane the other day. So far, kind of middle of the road when it comes to that prediction, I would say. The next one was for Hull City to be relegated, and in fact, before Boxing Day, before the previous match day they actually played, they were in the relegation zone. They managed to win for the first time in a very long time the other day, but only in 21st. They're only out of the relegation zone by 1 point. Looking like Hull will very much be in that battle at the bottom. I mean, it's so tight in the division at that, in the lower parts of it. I mean, you wouldn't even say with any certainty that the likes of Norwich and Millwall are necessarily safe. They need to get a lot of good results, and they need it quite quickly. Hull are a bit of a basket case off of the field. Just go watch HITC7's videos. He's a Hull City fan, is Alfie, one of my favourite YouTubers without a doubt, and and he goes into the absolute chaos behind the scenes at the Tigers. So yeah, they need to do work. They need to get better. It's going to be tight to say whether they actually stay up or go down. My next one now, this is a bad prediction. I'm miles off with this one, but in fairness, I don't think anybody really would have seen what's happened with Blackburn coming. So my prediction with Blackburn was that they would either make the playoffs, which you might think, oh, they're in 5th place, good prediction. I said they'd get the playoffs if they kept Sammy Smodics. They didn't keep Sammy Smodics, and I said if they didn't keep Sammy Smodics, they'd be relegated. They're not going to get relegated. Blackburn are having an excellent season. They're up in 5th place in the Championship. They're on a bit of a bad run at the moment, 3 games without a win, but realistically, they only need to get 12 more points, I'd say, to stay up. Normally 50 points is enough to survive in the Championship, and Blackburn have a very realistic shot of being able to get into the playoffs and get back to the Premier League. You get in the playoffs, it's a lottery, man. You can definitely make it into the Premier League if you just get a good run of games towards the end of the season. So there we go. The next prediction, number 4, this is also not looking too great. I went with all 3 promoted sides from League One last season to stay up this season. So Derby County are in 16th place. They're the highest of the 3 promoted sides, and I don't think they're going to go down. I think they're going to be safe. A lot of people said in the comments, oh, you predicted Derby to stay up. Derby are terrible. I'm like, they're not that bad. Not compared to the worst sides in the Championship, and certainly, especially at Pride Park, or the iPro, or whatever the stadium's known as these days. I call it Pride Park. Whatever it's known as these days, they're very good at home, basically. They don't lose many games at home. So I say that as Leeds beat them at home the other day, but Leeds are at the top of the division. They're doing very well at the end of the day. So, yeah, Derby are looking like they've got a good chance of staying up, I'd say. Oxford, I mean, they got 2 wins together recently, to be fair. They've been looking better, but when we played them, I did go to the Sheffield United against Oxford match at Bramall Lane earlier this season. It very much seemed as men and boys, to be honest. Oxford do look like a League One side in the Championship, so they've got a very, very tough task ahead of them to stay up. But currently, as things stand, they are 3 points above the dotted line. Portsmouth, meanwhile, they're the only one of the 3 sides in the relegation zone. For me, I think Pompey are probably going to go down. They've been at the bottom of the division throughout the season, really. They're not a terrible side, but they don't win enough. They get quite a few draws, but they don't win enough for me. I feel like Portsmouth and Plymouth are probably going to go down and probably be joined by one of Cardiff, Hull, or Oxford. But yeah, so the final prediction, again, another bad one. And in fairness, this was done partly as a bit of a joke. I just wanted to say it, but I didn't really think they'd go down, to be honest. But I did predict Sheffield Wednesday to get relegated, and come on, I mean, you look at the jumper that I'm wearing, you can tell where that prediction came from. Very much heart over head with that one. And, I have to give props, I have to give credit to them. Sheffield Wednesday have done an incredible job this season. They have a very meager squad, to be honest. They don't have a good team at all. But Danny Roll has got them really performing, and they are really, really doing the best they can. And I think even if Roll does leave, because there were rumours about him leaving to go to Southampton, I think even if Roll was to leave, which I don't really see happening, to be honest, I think he does believe in whatever Chansari is selling him. Whether that he backs that up financially, don't know. We'll have to see what happens on that one. But I think even if he did leave, and even if the performance did tail off as a result of that, they've got 33 points. I don't think they're going to get relegated. I think they're pretty safe, to be honest. And they have an outside shot of the playoffs. 4 points off the playoffs. So they could potentially get promoted. No, come on. That's not going to happen. Let's not be ridiculous here. But yeah, there we go, guys. So far, I would say Burnley not to get promoted. That is on the fence. Hull to be relegated, but definitely possible. Blackburn to get relegated. Nope, not happening. All promoted sides to stay up. Unlikely. Wednesday to be relegated. No chance. Don't see it. So yeah, not doing very well, really. We've only got one that's looking like happening. That's Hull, and even that's questionable. So yeah, we'll revisit these. Come the season end in May, and yeah, we will. I'll also be reviewing my predictions for Leagues 1, League 2, and the National League. And I'll also be doing a revisit of my predictions for the Premier League as well after this match day is completed. After Arsenal play against Brentford on New Year's Day, I'll be reacting to that one. So yeah, if you want to see some more incorrect predictions, do keep it tuned here to thefootballchronicle.com. We preview every single Premier League match day weekend, and also we review how wrong my predictions are on a weekly basis, which is entertaining for you guys at least. Kind of humiliating for me, but there we go. But yeah, see you soon for some football content here on thefootballchronicle.com. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well, and we'll see you in 2025. Have a good one, guys.